Hola, Gringos y Gringos, and welcome to
Gringos are us.
Expats with a Plan.
I'm Mark.
I'm Gina.
This week we're going to talk about the culture shock of going back to the U.S. Coming up next.
Well, we've been promising this video because each of us, within about a month and a half of each other, took a trip back to the United States. I went first because I had to get a laptop for a job, and then he went to get me another laptop for the job.
Yeah, whole different story. But both of us encountered a lot of the same things. Feeling-wise, when we got back and started comparing notes, it was sort of like, wow, now I remember exactly why we have moved down here.
Exactly. And we're going to kind of break it up into our experiences at the airport in Querétaro versus our experiences at the airport in Dallas-Fort Worth. And then we have a couple restaurant experiences, grocery store experiences, and just our feelings on, I guess, society at large.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, the first thing is, you know, I have now coined it the 2020 rule. You know, it only takes me 20 minutes of being back in the U.S. to get the stress and the angst. And it takes me 20 minutes of being back in Mexico to let it all just go.
All right, so I guess I'll go first.
Okay.
And then we'll just we'll go back and forth, sparring off each other at the same topic. So I go to the airport. I have 2 large bags that I'm going to check because I want to mule a bunch of things back to Mexico from his mom's house, things that we had ordered. And so I've got these 2 large bags, and I've got a long, oversized hammock that I bought for our granddaughter.
A year plus ago.
Yeah. And, you know, the hammock is not big enough to really check, but they tell me at the ticket counter it's too long and I can't take it onto the plane. So the ticket agent, as he's, checking me in, he said, why don't you check the hammock and take the smaller of these 2 bags with you to the gate? And I said, but it's too big. Won't they have an issue with that? And he said, yeah, they'll probably just take it at the gate and they will check it at the gate. He goes, I don't want to charge you an additional $200 for having a third item to check, which first, that blew my mind. 1, I'm flying first class. I get 2 bags included in my ticket. So a third bag is $200? So I was thankful that he decided to I'll take this bag, check the hammock.
I mean, I got to Querétaro and it was easy peasy. I mean, other than the fact that I woke up an hour late, rolled over, looked at the clock and went, holy crap, I got to go, and got there. And it was, check-in was smooth as can be. I had 1 bag and my empty, for the most part, computer bag, because I was bringing a computer back, so I wasn't able to take the computer with me. So I had to, basically take the empty bag.
Yeah.
So, but they did all that, got through the I&M part of it, which, if you ever go to Querétaro, is hidden and you really got to look for it.
Oh, yes. It's a hole in the wall.
Mm-hmm.
As you're looking at the counter, the ticket counter, it's a hole in the wall to your right.
And
yeah.
Boom, give him all my stuff. Boom, boom, boom. Gives me back my little receipt that I have to give to the gate agent. And, go, sit, wait. They take my Coke from me, of course, because, they've got to sell you a Coke inside instead of letting you bring a Coke in.
Right.
But other than that, no. I mean...
And it might be important to note here that although this changes, it seems like it's always changing, at least in Querétaro, if you are a resident and you're leaving and you're going to come back, you get like one of those short FMN cards, and they just stamp some stuff on it. You don't keep it. You don't carry it with you. You basically hold on to it until you get to the gate.
Yep.
And then the gate agent just takes it. That's it. So that's all you have to do with I&M. When I got to the gate with my oversized bag, no one said a word. I just got right on the plane. Put it right in over top in the overhead. It just fit. It wasn't even heavy because there wasn't hardly anything in it. Okay, so we get to Dallas. When I get to Dallas, the first thing I notice is that, I got through customs and everything was good. Well, half of customs, I guess. I'm at the gate. I'm at the baggage return, and I'm there when the belt turns on. And again, I got first class tickets, so the first class luggage is usually the first stuff that comes off. And I wait. From the time the belt came on to the time the belt went off, the hammock never made it. Now, it was a weird, long, small round, maybe this big around, unusual shape and size. They probably missed it. And it did get to me eventually. But the thing is I waited all that time. And now I had 15 minutes to literally leave one concourse, get a tram to a different concourse so that I could catch my next flight. So now I'm doing the O.J. Simpson through the airport, pushing bags, running as fast as I can, catching the tram. I'm out of breath and I get to the gate. I am the next to the last person, I believe, to get on the plane. And this is what's greeting me. A woman with the most miserable look on her face. Like she hates her life, she hates her job, she's ready to go home. And I go to scan in, and she looks down at my bag. That's too big. Yes, I know. It's too big. Yes, I know. I said to her, the gate agent, when I checked in for my flight, told me to take this one with me, and he checked my other bags. Well, that's too big. I know, I agree with you. Then she just takes it and with a big huff, shoves it down inside the little bag measuring box that they have. See, it's too big. I said, okay, yes, I agree with you. What can we do about it? How do we resolve this? And she just looked at me for a minute. Well, I'm going to let you take it this time, but just so you know.
It's too big.
Okay, thank you. So I take my bag and I go around the corner and I see a woman who's now loading things that were checked at the gate. And she looked at me and she goes, oh, here, I'll take that. And I said, she goes, you don't have a ticket. No, I was just told to just go ahead and take it. She goes around the corner and I can hear the grumpy lady. I told her it was too big, but I told her she could take it. Okay. So off I go. Again, I stuck it in my overhead, and now I am on my way to Kansas City. Next.
I mean, we get to Dallas, and I have plenty of time. And take the long walk from the gate, which they switched gates on me, and have to walk all the way up to customs and get to customs. And, I'm totally still amazed that, you put your feet on the blue footprints, and never handed him my passport. And he just goes, so what brings you back, Mark?
10 seconds into his scan.
And I'm like, he goes, it's been a while since we've seen you back here. He goes, you must like it down there in Mexico. I said, yeah. I said, the people don't all hate each other. He just laughed and he goes, welcome home. Go on. And I was like, fine, no problem. Go to the baggage claim, grab my bag, throw my bag over there for them to put it on the next flight, and then have to get out and go back through TSA.
Oh, yeah.
So, standing in line with all the grumpy people, because it was a long line to get through TSA. And, everybody that I know, these people are saying the same things over and over again, like robots, everything out of your pocket, belts off, shoes off, laptops on top of the bag, da 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 da. And I'm like, okay, go through there. And Everything's out of the pockets, you know, belts off, shoes off. And finally get my turn through there. The gray totes are backing up.
The bins.
The bins, you know, that you put all your stuff in. And this woman comes over and she goes, everybody get your stuff out of the totes. We got to get this stuff off the thing. And I looked up at her and I went, you made me take all this off. You can wait while I put it all back on.
Oh, no.
And she just looked at me and I stared like, the longer we stand here staring, the longer it's going to take to get my stuff out of here. You know, and she just walked away. And people next to me were smiling like, thank you, you know, because everybody was like, hey.
And it takes time. And it's a lot faster to put the stuff in the bin than it is to take it out. You know, now you got to put your shoes on and you got to put everything back in the bag where it was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, you know, the attitude was there and it was just like,
palpable.
Here we go. You know, now I remember why we live in Mexico.
That wasn't the right word. It's palpable, isn't it?
It was.
I'm making up my own words.
You know, it just was like, wow.
Yeah.
You know.
I am going to give credit, though, to the flight attendant who was on the flight from Texas, from Dallas-Fort Worth to Kansas City. She was exceptionally good. Exceptionally good. She's very, very helpful and just kind. She was the kind of a flight attendant who actually addressed you by your name without you giving it to her. She was that attentive. So.
No, I mean, had a good flight, got in, you know, and then that's the flights.
Those are the flights. All right.
You know, that's the welcome back to the U.S.
So the first thing that happens is my mother-in-law picks me up and we decide we're going to go to Panera for lunch. And I know I'm not going to get this exact price, but we walk into Panera and what I'm expecting is for us to walk up to the counter and place an order. There's like 5 or 6 kiosks to the side of the restaurant. There's only one person in the front and he's really not at the front. There's like one register up there. So everybody is in this mess on the side of the building and they're placing their orders themselves on kiosks. Okay, well, so this is what we ordered, guys. We got some kind of sandwich they were running a special on that was kind of like a French dip. And I got a half cup of macaroni and cheese. And the sandwiches came with like medium-sized soft drinks, which, by the way, you also have to go serve yourself, right? It was about $46. Now, my mother-in-law wants to pay in cash. Well, you're at a kiosk. You can't pay cash at the kiosk. So now she goes up to the single register with this wandering guy and said, I'd like to pay for my order in cash. Can I do that? Get this, guys. He goes back to ask the manager, can I take her order in cash? Manager says, yes, it's okay. So now this young man is trying to fumble his way with recreating the order. Again, 2 of these French dip sandwiches. By the way, they're supposed to come with a dip sauce, right? 2 drinks that we serve ourselves and a half cup of macaroni and cheese. And now all of a sudden the price is only $39. Somewhere $7 disappeared. I don't know. So $39 for 2 sandwiches this long. We never got the sauce to dip it in. We got the 2 drinks. And
there's the $7.
I guess so, because we didn't get our sauce. $39, guys, at Panera for 2 sandwiches, 2 drinks, and a half cup of macaroni and cheese. That's sticker shock for me. I know Panera was always a little on the high end, but geez, what? $20 a person?
Well, I mean, and
you know,
my sister picked me up at the airport because she only lives 5 to 10 minutes away from the airport, and we were going to go have lunch before, as my mom says, gives us an opportunity to talk about her without her being there before I can spend time with her. And so my sister was like, well, what would you like to eat? You know, barbecue sounds good. And Amy was like, well, you know what? I know just the place. because she lives right around there. So she takes me to the barbecue shack that they go to and walk in, and we get two, one apiece, pulled pork sandwiches with a side of beans and a beverage. $36.
Holy crap. Oh, man. Wow.
And it was like, what?
$18 a piece.
Sandwich,
beans, and a drink.
Sandwich, beans, and a drink.
Wow.
Now, service there was great because everybody was in a good mood because the Super Bowl had not yet happened. So everybody in Kansas City was excited because, this was right before the Super Bowl was being played. Everybody in the place was wearing Chiefs, gear. And I'm not talking just about the staff. I'm talking everybody was, I sort of walked in there and looked at Amy and I went, I think we're dressed wrong, because we weren't in Chiefs gear.
Oh, wow.
But, but the service was great. And I got to say, every restaurant we went to, the service was great. Yeah. Now, as to what Gina was just talking about as far as the kiosks, we have encountered that here in Mexico. KFC is implementing that because we just went to a KFC about 10 days ago, and I walked right in there, went boom, 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 placed the order, again, with cash, but they have a button down there that says cash, and it prints, efectivo, and gives you the ticket, and then they have a sign up that says,
pay over here.
Pedidos con efectivo. Okay, walked right over. And before I could get my change back from the young lady, they handed me our order.
That's pretty impressive. But it's not the norm in Mexico yet.
No, but it's coming.
It has rapidly become the norm in the United States because I saw it everywhere.
Oh yeah,
multiple places.
We did it at Taco Bell twice, and so yes, no, so that is the norm.
The next big thing was the grocery store. Okay, so on my way into the grocery store, there is a Starbucks. I used to be a card-carrying member of the Starbucks bonus points club type thing, and I was like, I haven't had a Starbucks in so long, and it's just right around the time they have chestnut praline latte, which I love. It's like one of my favorites. I probably love it even more than pumpkin spice latte. So I go in and I order what I always used to order, a venti, which is the largest one they have. Now, a venti used to run $5.50 maybe or something. It was $7.35. And I paid for it. But I was like, I'm going to have this. This is going to be like the last one I ever have. I'm never going to spend $7.35 again on a coffee drink. That was just ridiculous. Like, it went up $2 almost? Almost $2? What the heck? And then, of course, we're looking around the store for quick things to buy. And I wish I could remember the exact prices at this time, but it seemed like a lot of items that I was normally used to buying had almost doubled in price. Like more than 50% for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Eggs at the time I was there were running around $8 a dozen. And I was like, you got to be kidding me. We're buying those for less than $2 a dozen in Mexico.
Well, when I was there, it ran from $6.50 for the cheapest eggs a dozen to over $13.
And of course, the cheapest ones were probably empty, right?
We managed to get a dozen.
I mean, but my goodness, that almost everything is just about, it's more than 50% higher than it was. Some of the stuff was almost double.
Well, some of the stuff that I muled back, the Zatarains that we used to get for $1.79 was now over $3. And we have this meal that we like. It's called Beanie Weenie Royale. It is nothing more. I mean, it's a quick, cheap. Well, it used to be cheap. A quick dinner of pork and beans, some ground beef, and some chopped up hot dogs. And voila, add a little ketchup, mustard, brown sugar, some Worcestershire sauce. Bam, we're good to go. So I'm looking for the
He likes a
big.
specific brand of beans.
Well, I'd settle for any of them down here, but can't find pork and beans here. So
Right.
I bought 2 big Van Camps talls, the big ones. Used to run about $2.79 to $2.99 per can.
Big can.
Big cans. $4.99 a can.
Yeah, that's a hike.
It was like, yikes.
So now we're talking about there's a lot of self-service kiosks, and a lot of inflation has hit. Of course, as many of you know this already, right? This is nothing new, but it was a shock. I get to his mom's after we had done our lunch, after I had gotten, this was after I got my coffee and we went to the grocery store. She likes Diet Dr. Pepper, and she buys it in a 2-liter bottles, and she's putting them in her garage refrigerator. And it didn't dawn on me that they were 2-liter bottles. I'm looking at the refrigerator door and I'm like, oh, those are so cute. What size are those? And then I went, oh, that's a 2-liter bottle. Because they don't sell 2-liter bottles like that in Mexico. If they do sell them, they're tall skinnies. Mark typically buys 3-liter bottles now. And so they're about the same girth. They're just taller. So I haven't seen a 2-liter bottle like they sell in the US in, over a year and a half. And I thought that they were like little single serve, like giant single serve. And I picked it up with one hand like it was nothing. And I went, oh my goodness, that's 2 liters.
Well,
that was just funny.
The biggest thing that I tried as an experiment was to use the Mexican way of talking to everyone.
Oh, yeah.
And we walk in and, the greeter's there at the high V, and he's got his name badge on. It's, good morning, Frank. How are you today? And they sort of have to do a double take because they're not used to hearing that. They're just used to having people walk right by them.
Yeah.
And I did that everywhere, whether it was a restaurant, whether it was a grocery store, and it's amazing the looks that I got from people who were going,
what?
Huh?
I don't know how to respond to this, right? So let me dovetail onto that. I had to go get a drug screen done because I was doing pre-employment labs while I was there. And I went to a LabCorp. Now, I know from personal experience and knowledge of people who have worked there, LabCorp doesn't pay crap. Not what they should. They really lowball their salaries. And so the people who are working there, let's face it, they're not getting paid as much as they should be, but they're working and they have a job. And it pays better than minimum wage most of the time, not always. So I have to check in online. I can do it through my phone, or I can do it at a kiosk inside the lab lobby. So I do it on the phone so that I'm already checked in when I go in. But I don't know what to do next. So we enter, and there's 2 women sitting at the front desk, what would normally be the place that somebody checks you in.
You mean reception?
Yes. And they're sitting at the front desk, and they both have their face glued on a computer, and neither one of them has any emotion at all. And neither one of them's looking up. So I stood there for a minute, and finally one of them looked up at me and said, do you have an appointment? Yes, I do. Did you check in? Yes, I did. What's your name? Like, isn't this what typically would happen if somebody would just manually check you in? So I gave her my name, and she basically, in some kind of a way, asked me to take a seat in the lobby. Okay, so I'm sitting in the lobby. Another guy comes in. Did he have an appointment? Yes, he does. Did he check in? No. How do I do that? Go over to the kiosk. So he fumbles over to the kiosk, and I can see he's like trying to figure out what he's doing, but sit there for a little bit. All of a sudden, I think I hear my name, but there's nobody. I see nobody. And I get up and I creep slowly going to a corridor, and I see the woman who I had talked to initially down at the end of the corridor with her head around the corner. And I said, "Oh, do I need to come back?" "Yes." "Okay." So I go back, and just like you said before, they're so used to repeating the same things over and over and over. She literally reads her script that she has probably memorized to me. "Open the door, blah, 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 do this, da, 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 do not do this, da, 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 let me know when you're done." Like no emotion. Okay. And she said it so fast I missed half of what she said. I collect the specimen, I come back out, I hand it to her, and she proceeds to put the seal on it that proves that it hasn't been tampered with. She's measuring the temperature to make sure that it's actually warm, because you wouldn't imagine what people do sometimes to get through these tests. And she hands me something else. I guess it's a receipt, a requisition, basically saying that I had it done on this day. I have to sign it, saying that I witnessed her putting the seal and everything on there. And the whole time, she's like hardly looking at me. She's monotone, totally emotionless. And I did just what he did. I looked at her and I said, "Thank you very much," whatever her name was. "I hope you have a good day today." And I said it nicely. And she stopped and looked up at me, and she actually half smiled and said, "Thank you, you too." And this is my surmise. This is what I surmise is going on. Notice how we said there's a lot of kiosk stuff going on, right?
No human
There's
interaction.
no human interaction. People don't know how to talk to each other. They don't know how to interact with each other. And as a result, they're losing that bit of humanity.
They're becoming robotic.
Yes. And how horrible it must be to go through an entire day like that,
Well,
fully expecting that you're just going to be encountering one miserable person after another. And all it takes is one person to say, "Thank you, and, I hope you have a good day today," to change your mood. Really.
and imagine if everybody started doing that, maybe the temperature would come down, the angst would start to just dissipate, and everybody would suddenly be, so people on the northern side of the border or borders, depending upon if there's one country or two countries, talk to one another. Be nice.
Just be nice. Just smile.
Learn from the Mexican people down here. You don't walk into a store and go, "Where's this?" Because that's not what you do.
No. And so
it's pretty easy to do, and it takes a whole lot less muscles to smile than it does to frown.
Unfortunately, most of those people aren't watching this video, because we're in such a specific niche. But it was eye-opening. It was eye-opening because of the attitudes of people, and you could feel it. You could feel it. It literally, like I've said before, being in Mexico is like you're energized. People are kind and they fill you with positive energy. Well, being in the U.S. was draining, and it didn't take long for you to just feel deflated and just, why am I here?
Well, one, you're overwhelmed with the anger and the stress, and the other, you're overwhelmed with the kindness and the love.
Yeah.
Gee, do we make the right choice?
Yeah. Yeah.
We had somebody question us the other day going, "Oh, Mexico's starting to get too expensive. I'm going back home."
Okay.
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 But if money is the same across the board, I know which side of the border I want to be on, because down here, you are just so happy and so much less stress. Well, at least we are.
If you allow yourself to be, that's the key. If you didn't bring all your baggage with you, and you're open to accepting the cultural differences and the people as they are, you would be very happy.
Oh yeah.
But it was a big culture shock. The prices, the attitudes, the lack of interpersonal interaction was just kind of mind-blowing.
Well, It was mind-blowing, and yet it reaffirmed that we made the right choice.
I agree.
And
that's it. That is the culture shock.
Yep.
Hope that wasn't too long. It is what it is. We thank you for joining us, and we hope that you tune in again for future videos that are coming up, including a tour of our Airbnb in Querétaro and a few little fun things here and there. Trip to Techies.
Yeah.
Going to Centro. Yeah, just having a good time here. We haven't been shooting a lot of video because we've been kind of like chilling, but we have all kinds of video ideas that I've been taking notes in my phone for months now. So we can do more videos kind of like this, where we sit down and talk and share.
And you got to see sunset.
You got to see the sunset. A little cloudy, but it's still there. We are Gringos Are Us.
Expats with a plan.
Remember,
we're doing it. You can too. And oh God, they're over there. Normally they're on my side. Okay, up there, more videos. I think I see a skeeter.
Oh no, time to go in. Hasta la próxima.
Adios.